Welcome to the Daily Review. This is Razak, Senior Trading Strategist here at CMTrading. And today is June 22nd, 2023, and today is Thursday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, markets take a U-turn and they sell off. But we're going to first take a look at today's major economic events. So at 1 p.m. South African time, out of Great Britain, we have an official bank rate decision coming out. Now, going into today's number, looking at the various markets, starting out with the Forex symbols, the euro advances versus the US dollar, and as profit taking takes place, looking at the indices, both the NASDAQ and the Dow Jones trade lower. And looking at commodities, gold inching lower past that supportish area. We're going to take a look at that. And oil pretty much unchanged. Looking at the stocks, Tesla takes an exhaustion move, which means that it makes a correction. And lastly, looking at cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin keeps on climbing. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. We're going to start with the Euro USD, and it climbs higher as the dollar depreciates versus the euro. You can see that quite clearly. Now, the next real resistance-ish level is about 100 pips away from here at 110.90-ish level. So keep an eye on this because it does look like it's making that ABC. A goes up, retraces B, and then it has one more run as it takes up to 1090. Okay, keep that in mind, as that is usually the key to trading. It usually takes as threes. Okay, everything is usually done in threes. Now, jumping into the GBP USD, as today's number comes out, we are at weekly resistance level, just below it, right there at 127.54. That's a big comeback for the GBP. Now, this is historic because going back to where we were, this is a V formation, as it's made a big comeback since last September, October, where it just fell out of bed to almost 1-to-1 versus the dollar. So it's a big comeback for the GBP USD. We're at about a 50% retracement for the GBP. So this is a point of real contention, meaning if we're going to break out higher, then that means we're going to trade above 130-ish level. And if we're not going to be able to clear it, that means we'll be stagnating between 129-ish level and possibly just below it, 128-ish level and 120-ish level. So keep that in mind as this is still trading today. Now, jumping into commodities, look at that gold looking and inching lower to 1930, just sitting there on supportish level, not bouncing off of it. So it is inching. Doesn't mean it's going to break it. So this is really something to keep an eye out, because if it does bounce, it's a great trade to just range bound trade. Now, looking at crude oil, not doing much. So I'm not going to cover it too much. 72.18-ish level, really not doing much there. Now, jumping into the U.S. markets, Dow Jones retracing over 600 points from our high from last Friday, to be expected. People are taking profits. We're going into the summer, and that's completely sell in May and go away. So this time it's sell in June. And, you know, we've had a really decent run from the beginning of October, end of October of 2022 up until now. So this is a big turnaround. If we look at it on a daily, you could see it, right? This was where we were back in October. And so for us to be kind of like not pushing higher here, completely to be justified. Okay, all-time highs, we're still off of it, but this is resistance-ish area. Okay, 34,700 for sure is resistance-ish area. You can see that quite clearly. Jumping into the NASDAQ, also tapering off just at 15K. Okay, about 400 points from our highs. Okay, to be expected. Okay, if we look at the individual stocks, the people taking profits off the table, not major. So it's not like we're going to make a reversal here. Facebook is also just recovering at 281. What is interesting is Tesla, because Tesla really pushed up higher, and then we saw a little bit of a sell-off there. This might be a fake out sell-off, because if you look, the volume is down. This is what I'm talking about. When you see the volume down and this sells off, that means there's not as many sellers. It's just there's not as many buyers at that moment. However, it doesn't mean that it's weak, and it may rebound still. So keep that in mind as this unfolds. And lastly, looking at Bitcoin, look at this. This is really interesting. Rallying to 30K. And I said this yesterday, if it breaks above that 26,000-ish level, 27,000-ish level, we would see ourselves pop into 30. We did in 1 day of trading. That comes to show you that Bitcoin is not over. Cryptocurrencies are still in the game. And we are at resistance-ish level. If we clear 30, then we could get to 35. Okay, that's a very important number for us to clear. This is Fed Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.